All right, here's our man on the right. This is the old Anthony Davis. And if we look right over here on the left, this is the new Anthony Davis, and he ate the old Anthony Davis. Here's AD just ballooned up, and he's a big old fat fucker, just a fatso of a man. He's not that big of a fatso, but since last year's training camp with the Lakers, Anthony Davis has gained 15 pounds with a little amazed face, and he does look a little chunky, to be honest. I know it's the off season. We're excited for the season to get started, and we're finding things to talk about. But just looking at this, to be totally honest with you guys, he does look a little tubby right here. Needless to say, this picture on the right is probably halfway through the season or closer to the end of the season. So players do slim down throughout the season and things like that. We'll get into Anthony Davis's quote, but he basically says, I don't want to come into season my playing weight because then I lose weight throughout the season. Then I come into the off season and I'm light. That's basically what he was saying. And we'll get into the quote, but I just don't like to hear that honestly from players. I'm a Spurs fan. Kobe Bryant was my favorite player growing up, which is a weird thing, but Kobe would never come into the season. LeBron never comes into the season. Tim Duncan would never come into the season looking out of shape. And Anthony Davis does look out of shape. You can kind of see his tummy right there. It's not like Zion Williamson out of shape a few years back where his face was just pudgy and he's pushing 300 pounds. But just visually looking at this, he doesn't look like a professional athlete. He doesn't look like he's in great shape. So for me, that's what I usually say. If you're a professional athlete, the least you can do, just the bare minimum of your job, is to be in shape, to come into the preseason in shape. And I don't think that's anything crazy to ask for. With that being said, is Anthony Davis going to come in and be playing like shit his first few games? I doubt it. He'll probably play just fine. He'll lose the weight and he'll be just fine, but with me, that's always my thing. If you're a professional athlete, the least you can do is come into the season in shape. I was going to say be in shape for 12 months, the whole, every month of the year you have to be in shape, but you don't even have to do that. What is it? June, July, August. Be a fat boy for June, July, August. Once September comes, you have September, October, almost 2 whole months to get your diet back right and get back into shape. But that's always a hard thing for me. Just being a fan of Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan, LeBron, guys like that. They never come in and have to play themselves into shape. So I never like to hear that. Honestly, I'm gonna play my way into shape. That reminds me of something Luka Doncic would say, and I like Luka as well. But when he would come into the Mavericks preseason, he's just a big old fat boy. Then he plays himself back into shape. It's just not a good look. But here's Anthony Davis before the Mavericks fans could even voice their concerns about their star players' bulkier frames. So, well, I guess before the fans could even say something, well, basically Anthony Davis saw the picture I just showed you, and I guess he must have seen himself and said, "Man, I look a little tubby," and known that people are gonna say something about it because this is before the fans could even say something, and the fans have been saying things. Someone said I saw this is why you're injured all the time, and just saying other mean things. But anyway, Davis addressed the issue, saying it's normal for him to start training camp overweight because he easily sheds the pounds once the intensity of camp kicks in. Again, I don't like those excuses or people that say I'm going to play my way into shape, and then Anthony Davis saying, "Oh, I came into camp overweight because if I don't, then once the playoffs come, I'm gonna have lost too much weight." It makes no sense. I mean, if you come in 20 pounds overweight today, that doesn't matter once the playoffs come because that's whatever 7 or 8 months down the road. So anybody that's done anything athletic or tried to lose weight or been serious about exercising, all you guys know, Anthony Davis, he's gonna lose this weight. Kind of like you said, he's gonna lose this weight before January, probably by December. He's gonna be fully back in shape and totally just fine as far as his shape goes, but he's gonna have to eat a certain amount of food and calories to make sure he doesn't get into the playoffs underweight. So that makes no sense. Basically, what I'm saying, the 20 extra pounds you have right now, they're going to be gone by December, January, and it's not like it puts you ahead for the playoffs, and then by the time the playoffs are starting, you're going to say, oh, thank God I put on those extra 20 pounds. They're going to have no effect by the time we're in March, April. But anyways, Anthony Davis said, I feel good. I kind of I kind of almost going into every season. Okay, he kind of almost feels good going into every season because I put on so much weight over the summer. Then by the time November comes, I'm usually 255, 258. They had weighed him. He's like 258 right now. So last season, I guess he came in 15 pounds lighter. So what was he, 243 or so? That seems more like Anthony Davis's playing weight. You probably want him around 240, 245, but he says here, I never want to come in at my playing weight because then I lose weight during the season and then I'm too small. And I thought this was a stupid quote. This is like some shit that Paul George would say or some shit that Luka Doncic would say, honestly. I'm not saying so much the players have to be in shape every single day throughout the entire year. Again, like I said, take July, August, September, become a fat boy for July, August, September. Then once October comes, towards the end of September, start dieting again and lose that weight. It's just hard for me to hear professional athletes say, I'm just going to play my way back into shape during the season. Like you said, I'm going to be too small during the playoffs. Just like, dude, you're a professional athlete. You should know how to diet. And if you don't, just ask these professional trainers around you. I guarantee you, Anthony Davis, he knows everything he has to do. He knows exactly how he has to eat and things like that to come into the playoffs at playing shape. And him being overweight or the extra weight he's carrying right now, it's not going to carry him into April or anything. It's going to be completely gone by then. But that's basically the excuse Anthony Davis made. I want to have that extra weight so I can carry it over to the playoffs, I guess. He says I lose about 10 to 12 pounds very quickly. During camp, I already lost 5 pounds, all the running and playing. So I'm never concerned about that. I feel great. I'm moving great. I feel good, said Anthony Davis. So like I was saying, I'm sure he'll lose the weight. I'm sure he's probably going to play just fine, but just optically, it looks kind of bad. Anthony Davis, there's probably other players that come into the camp looking just like that. They're 10 or 15 pounds overweight, just like AD, and no one talks about it. But with Anthony Davis, with Luka Doncic, some of these other players, Joel Embiid, Zion Williamson, when your weight and your health is a concern, you should know people are going to look at stuff like this, and it's not going to look good optically. Then you have people like me talking about it and kind of bashing on Anthony Davis. It's not so much the weight that annoys me. It's just this quote that he's saying where he's trying to act like, just say you're overweight, dude. Like, okay, I came in and I'm a little overweight. I'm going to lose the weight and I'll be good to go by December, whatever it is. Just say, yeah, I'm a little overweight. I'll get into shape. It'll be fine. But that's an annoying excuse for me where he's saying, I never want to come in at my playing weight. I added these 15 extra pounds. That way I can carry this weight over, and by the time it's the playoffs, I'll be my ideal weight during playoffs time. Um, you're a professional athlete. You know exactly how you need to eat, all the things you have to do to come into the season at your playing weight and to be able to maintain your playing weight across the entire season. It's like, bro, play with LeBron for so long. I don't I just don't like that quote. I came in overweight so I can lose the weight and play myself into playing weight. I never like when any player says I need to play myself into weight. So I'm sure Anthony Davis will be just fine. We saw the picture. He looked like a chunky monkey, but he's going to lose the weight just like he said he was, and he's going to be just fine. But just with his injury history, his history of being out of shape at times, more just the injury history, people don't want to see Anthony Davis come into the season overweight. And, if he sprains his ankle or he gets some type of lower body injury, people can go straight back to him being overweight. Kendrick Perkins was talking about it, and he was talking about Cooper Flag and saying it's kind of a bad example to set. You are the veteran player on the team. He's new to Dallas, but he's the most experienced player on the team other than Kyrie Irving. And for you to come in and for Cooper Flag to see Anthony Davis came in overweight, especially with his injury history, it's just bad as far as the optics go. My main thing is the injury history, more than him coming in looking fat. It's just like I said before, other players can do this. Nobody will notice, but when it's Zion, Luka, Anthony Davis and players like that, we're going to notice even more and just pick it apart more than other players. And Anthony Davis knows that. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. Please let me know what you think about Anthony Davis coming into camp, looking like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and just what you think about how the Mavericks are going to look going into this season. Peace.